Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the Senate is set to vote again today on a House government funding bill in a last-ditch effort to avoid a government shutdown. And Kentucky has secured nearly $18 million to build electric vehicle charging stations.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this September 30th, 6 o'clock this morning, and time for a check of our weather with Megan Dusman. Megan, surely does not feel like fall, but I am drinking that iced coffee like it's going out of style.
And someone sent us a meme this morning.
It was our producer Hadley.
Yes, that's what it was. And it's time to wear a hoodie and drink iced coffee, right? Something like that. And that's what we're starting to get into, but not this week. It's still a little hot, so it's not bad to drink that iced coffee. Here's what we're seeing this morning. Mixture of the 50s and 60s. This afternoon, we'll see a mixture of the low to mid 80s, with the exception of our Virginia counties, which do have that slight chance for some scattered showers today, which will keep us just a tad bit cooler. Speaking of those rain chances, here's what we're monitoring this morning. A little bit of rain out to our east. That's what will make its way towards our region as we're heading into those afternoon hours. But for the most part, most folks will stay nice and dry. Just going to see a lot of clouds. That's the main forecast for the day. Amelia.
Law enforcement officials investigating the deadly attack at a Mormon church in Grand Blanc, Michigan, say everyone has now been accounted for. The Sunday morning shooting left 4 victims dead and 8 others injured. The gunman was killed by officers responding to the scene, but not before he was able to set the building on fire. The suspect is 40-year-old Marine vet Thomas Jacob Sanford. The FBI is calling the attack an act of targeted violence, but not terrorism at this point. A potential turning point in the push for peace in the Middle East as President Donald Trump unveils a new plan to end the war in Gaza. It's winning support from Israel and Arab and Muslim nations. Now the outcome hinges on Hamas. CBS's Tina Kraus reports.
With Gaza still under fire from Israeli bombs, President Trump announced an end to the war could be closer than ever.
We had a long, strong talk, Bibi and I, and he understands it's time.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he supports Trump's 20-point peace proposal. If Hamas also backs the plan, the war will immediately end. All hostages will be returned within 72 hours of Israel publicly accepting the deal, and Israeli forces will start withdrawing in stages.
This is the closest we've ever come to real peace, not fake peace, not political fool's peace.
Monday's White House meeting between Trump and Netanyahu was watched closely around the world, with some Israelis already celebrating.
Finally, we have a deal to end the war, the bloody war in Gaza, and bring all our people back home.
The plan aims to shape Gaza's future with a massive economic push to rebuild. Unlike past proposals, Palestinians would not have to leave during Gaza's reconstruction. Hamas would be out of power, replaced by a temporary board of peace chaired by Trump. Hamas says it will review the plan in good faith before responding.
I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer, but if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do.
The deal also leaves open the possibility of a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood, something Netanyahu opposes. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
Another potential sticking point. The proposal calls for Hamas to disarm, something that it's never agreed to do. Next week marks 2 years since the October 7th attacks. State Senator Brandon Smith of Hazard is fighting lawsuits relating to a Bitcoin mining operation. The Lexington Herald Leader reports that Smith and his company, Mohawk Energy, are defendants in 2 lawsuits. It's related to the company's property purchase and use of expensive cryptocurrency mining machines. Smith is being accused of inflating the value of the former coal cleanup company. In a countersuit, Smith is seeking damages from the accuser for allegedly undermining the company. Smith denies all allegations of wrongdoing. 4 Kentucky lawmakers are leading an effort to push back against proposed restrictions on hemp products. The letter was signed by 27 members of Congress, opposing Senator Mitch McConnell's efforts to reverse the restrictions around the sale of THC products derived from hemp. Kentucky lawmakers James Comer, Morgan McGarvey, Andy Barr, and Thomas Massie are leading the charge, wanting to redefine what's considered legal hemp. McConnell says the change would close a loophole that's allowed unregulated hemp products to be sold nationwide. McConnell says he's continuing to meet with both sides on this issue. The Senate is set to vote again today on a House government funding bill in a last-ditch effort to avoid a government shutdown at midnight. Talks have stalled despite President Donald Trump and top White House officials meeting with congressional leaders yesterday at the White House. Democrats are demanding health care protections are included in the deal, but Republicans say time's up.
We're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing.
This is not simply a negotiating tactic. This relates to the well-being and the health of the American people.
The president and Republicans say the Democrats' demands are unreasonable. Federal workers are now bracing for a shutdown, with the Trump administration also threatening mass layoffs. The U.S. Department of Education is preparing for a possible government shutdown. Yesterday, Education Department officials announced its contingency plan if lawmakers fail to pass a spending bill by today. It says nearly 1,500 of its 1,700 employees would be furloughed. Some essential employees would stay on to keep loans and grants moving. The agency, however, would stop issuing new grants and reviewing civil rights complaints. Kentucky has secured nearly $18 million to build electric vehicle charging stations. Governor Andy Beshear filed a lawsuit last month challenging the Trump administration's decision to freeze funding for the program. It was after Kentucky was originally guaranteed $32 million for the proposal. However, the incoming funds will still help build 46 charging sites throughout the Commonwealth. A judge has reinstated Randall Weddle as mayor of the City of London after his impeachment just more than 3 weeks ago. Maggie Rickerby spoke to the City Council's attorney and Weddle's supporters last night.
We'll be seeking emergency appellate relief very, very quickly.
I feel like that my voice is being heard again.
At around 4:30 p.m. Monday, Judge David Williams reinstated Randall Weddle as mayor of the City of London. City Council's attorney Chris Weiss tells us he's filing an emergency motion to appeal the decision. He says he thinks Judge Williams's decision goes against legal precedent.
There was evidence that supported all 3 of the charges that he was removed on, and there's precedent in particular with the $5 million note and mortgage that he signed without council approval, where removals have been upheld on that basis.
Appointed Mayor Tracy Hanley and City Council were set to have a public hearing today to discuss the tax rate. But after he was reinstated, Weddle began the meeting with a statement. He said, in part,
"The courts have overturned your ruling. I'm just asking now that you guys start working with me and I with you, and let's move the City of London forward."
We weren't able to speak to any council members on camera, but
I think they were surprised and disappointed in the ruling, and obviously have instructed us to take the immediate steps that we're taking to deal with it.
Since Weddle was impeached at the beginning of the month, his supporters have been rallying behind him to get him back into office.
Now at least we have somebody back in office that we actually voted in office.
Johnny Miller lives in London. He says Weddle being reinstated as mayor has started a healing process.
No matter what happens, if the City Council appeals, the Kentucky Supreme Court decides to hear it, no matter what, the right thing is going to prevail.
City Council's appeal will go to the Kentucky Court of Appeals. Since it is an emergency motion to appeal, Weiss tells us he thinks there will be a decision within a couple of weeks.
We're going to react with actions, not words.
For now, Randall Weddle is the official mayor of London. In London, Maggie Rickerby, WKYT.
And we have reached out to Tracy Hanley, who was named mayor after the impeachment hearing, but we have not yet heard back.
It's still a little bit of a cooler morning, especially compared to yesterday. Temperatures are in a mixture of the mid to upper 50s. Some folks in the low to mid 60s. By the time we head into the afternoon, though, we will see some warmth Definitely still remaining warmer than averages. Normally we're in the low to mid 70s, but today, for most folks at least, we're looking at the low to mid 80s. There is the exception of our Virginia counties and our West Virginia counties, though, which will see a slight chance for some scattered showers, which will cool us only into the low to mid 70s. Here's a look at the satellite radar this morning. You can see just where that rain is right now, but it is making its way to our eastern edge. Again, we'll see some scattered shower chances this afternoon. So here's a look at that day planner. For most of the region, we're looking at partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Amelia.
Well, thanks so much for joining us on Mountain News this morning at 6:10. 2 people are in the hospital and a pickup truck driver is still on the run after a crash Saturday night.
When you